Hello students, and welcome to your last assignment for the Week 5 folder. And this is the last assignment for those of you who are not doing the honors assignments. The Week 5 assignment is one of the bigger ones for the week, and in order to access all of the information that it comes with, you'll need to click on this Week 5 Report Safety of Fission title link, and that will bring you into the content folder. Now the content folder has an overview that gives you an idea of what to expect. This piece has two parts to it. I do require that you do part 1, and part 2 is something that you can do if you want to. Now, to put this in perspective, it is a report that you will end up making. The first part of the assignment has you gathering information, and the second part has you organizing it. So that's kind of the difference on what to expect. The main part of the assignment, or the main focus that I want you to find and include, involves evaluating websites. So we're going to be looking into resources online that we can come across, and the goal is to have you properly evaluate that resource. And there's 2 videos here that you can watch that help you look into how to evaluate those websites that you might be coming across or running into. When you're done watching those videos, then you're going to scroll down again, and you'll notice there's these 2-part items here. The very first thing you should do is the Week 5 Report Safety of Fission Part 1. Again, this is where you're gathering information. This is the required piece. Part 1 is worth 20 points, and Part 2 is worth 10. So start with Week 5 Report Safety of Fission Part 1. And you can access your instructions by clicking on the Week 5 Report Safety of Fission Part 1 title link, and that will bring you into the discussion part. Now, in order to access the information, you have to click on this Create Thread button, and that will bring you into the instructions you need in order to complete this part of the assignment. Before you begin doing anything, you have to have the 3 questions from the Week 5 virtual field trip Part 2 that you completed earlier this week. So if you need to, make sure you go back into Week 5 and look for that Week 5 virtual field trip assignment in your post, and then make sure to copy and paste those 3 study questions that you came up with earlier this week. Each of your study questions are what we're going to use in order to find information for this part of the assignment. Each question is going to have what's called postcards, which is a gathering of information. Each question will have a minimum of 2 postcards, meaning when you're all done with this, you'll have a total of 6 postcards of information. So what I want you to do is start with your 3 questions, whether you want to paste them down here in the submission text, or you can use a Microsoft Word document. It's entirely up to you. Or you can even manually handwrite these questions and gather information. It's entirely up to you on how you want to gather this information, but you do need those 3 questions that you made in the Week 5 virtual field trip assignment. Now, what you're going to do is, using each individual question, I would start with question 1 and start looking into information online that you can find that would help answer those questions you have. You can use Google, Yahoo, Bing, whatever search engine it is that you want to start using. I will also provide a helpful PDF file with some resource links that you can start with as well. Now, when you start this, you want to make sure you're gathering information and also critiquing the websites. The main thing that I'm looking for, and the main goal of this assignment, is not simply just to gather information, but it's to be able to evaluate and critique your website. So each postcard that you do, which is again that grouping of information, will have 5 things that I look for. And those things are listed right here for you. So the very first thing that you will see involves the name of the website that you are on. I want the URL, which is this address piece up here in this address bar. And then I want you to look into who wrote it, who sponsors it. What group are they? Are they part of a political party? Are they sponsored or paid by a certain group or individual? Do they have bias in their information? This is what I'm looking for the most. So I highlighted that because that's one of the most important pieces that I want to make sure that you're including. The second part involves you finding quotes within that resource. Now this is a part where you can copy and paste it. You need to make sure you're putting it in quotations because you're not saying it, someone else is. So this is the only part I want you to copy and paste into your postcard. I want you to include what you think or feel about the information. So was it interesting or important? Did it help you answer your question? Did it change your mind on what you already thought would have been the answer to your question? Something along those lines. So this is in your own words. D involves your new questions that you can come up with and potentially answer or follow up on a different day. We're not going to do that in this post, but it is new questions that you might have in regards to what you've read or information you found. And then the last piece of information is, would you recommend this site to others and why? And I'm looking for that supporting information that you got from the first step or letter A. So again, to condense this all into a smaller list for those of you who like that, each postcard must have the name of site, URL, and then information on who wrote it, the group, who sponsors it, etc. You have to include quotes that you find interesting or that help answer your study questions. Make sure that you put those in quotations. What you think or feel about the information, how does it relate to your questions, did it help you answer, etc. New questions you might have in regards to what you've read, and then would you recommend this resource or website to others and why with supporting information. Each postcard has those 5 pieces, and again you'll have a total of 6 postcards. Each of your study questions will have 2. Now when you're done and you have all of this information, whether you typed it in this submission text box or you put it on a Word document or you handwritten it, you will submit that in this location down here. So you'll have to make sure you have a title. Again, you have this red asterisk, which means you have to put something there. Now you can put your information in this text box by pasting it, or you can attach a file, whether it's a picture or a scan file of your manually written information. Or if you have a Word document, you can click this Browse My Computer button, and that'll bring you into your personal files. You select whichever one is the work that you did and attach it. It'll pop up down here when it is attached. And then you'll go to this blue Submit button towards the bottom right to submit that to me for grading. Now that's the first part of this. The second piece, I want you to go back to the posts and look at other students' responses. And I want you to look at what their questions were, what their websites were, their information, and then give them feedback. So for example, if I submitted this, I now have a thread. And once you submit this, you can see whether other students have submitted this yet or not as well. And in order to access another student's thread, you would just have to click on the blue link under the term thread here. So mine says report. And let's say this is a different student's post. I can go in here, read about their information, and then I can reply with critiquing information by hitting this blue reply button. And what I'm looking for is critiquing the websites. Do you think that the website is good? Did you find information they might have missed? You can dig into their resources by using the URL link that they should have included. You can also critique the information. Did you find contradicting information? And how would we go about organizing that in terms of what's accurate and what's not? Things like that. So please don't put, you did a good job on this or something like that. I want some decent and thought out feedback for other students' posts. And you need to do this for 3 other students. So not just one. So when you're done with this, you type feedback here and you click the blue submit button. That'll submit your reply. And then in order to go back to see another student's post, when you're done with one of them, you'd have to click up here, the topic Week 5 Report Safety of Fission Part 1. And that'll bring you back to your thread area here. And then you can click on other students' threads and do the same thing. All of this will pop up for grading together for me, so you don't have to worry about that. The moment you submit your work and then submit any replies, that will pop up for me to grade. If you need help on this, if you need guidance, whether it's clicking on links to access things or coming up with important pieces to put in terms of your websites or resources, just let me know. I'm here to help you with this. It's not something that you need to struggle with, so just let me know if you need help. Once you're done, you can go on and watch the video for part 2 that you will find located next to the part 2 assignment.